Well, what is up, everybody? It's Verse TV here today. Now, there are usually times when I do these videos and I say that this is the worst Sony fanboy take I've ever seen. But nope, I think this guy takes the cake. He takes it right here. This has to be the most, this definitely has to be the worst fanboy take I've ever seen out of covering all these videos. I don't know if these Sony guys partake in maybe some drugs before they post on Twitter. I don't know how you can come up with this kind of post and be legit serious about any of this nonsense. How can anybody sober make an opinion like this and just like they just hit the send tweet button? Because this take is just astronomically just ridiculous. But let's get into this genius tweet right here. This person states, "At the end of the day, I think Sony will acquire by 2030 Square Enix, Capcom, Konami, Embracer Group, Crytek, Sega, and Ubisoft. Remember two things: the great European acquisition war is about to begin, and Sony is at the forefront. Also, 2030 would include 2 more budget additions." What is he even talking about? Now, I understand he said maybe 1 or 2 of these studios, but he thinks Sony has enough money to buy all of these studios, which is just like, what? Then what is this nonsense about the Great European Acquisition War? What is this guy talking about? Like, what drugs is this guy on? Like, once again, these guys, I don't know, maybe they're getting high on their own supply. I don't know what's going on with these Sony guys, because this is just ridiculous. Like, just to make even a statement like this, apparently Sony's just going to own all these studios now. These big studios, they're just going to own them. And even the Embracer Group, how many studios Embracer has, but apparently Sony's going to buy Embracer Group right now, you know. I say Sony guys say the most ridiculous things. I don't know if these guys even be sober when they be typing this stuff out. I honestly got a question their sobriety. Why are they typing this nonsense out at this point? But this guy was doubling down on all his takes as well too. Like, he was actually responding back to people. Like, really? Like, jeez. But let's see some of the comments people have to say about this post right here. There's no way Sony is able to get all this. I'm not even gonna read this guy's responses back because it's just like, really. Sony has nowhere near the capital to get half these, let alone Embracer and Ubisoft. We just assuming Sony has Microsoft levels of cash now in hand. Apparently he confused Sony with Microsoft, because I don't know why he thinks Sony has this much money to buy all these different studios. Like, it just makes zero sense. Isn't Ubisoft closer to being purchased by Tencent? Also wouldn't buy Konami as a whole and solve their pachinko and crypto endeavors. Crytek, why? Embracer Group? I would thin out by selling users IPs in some of their minor studios. No shot of that happening. Surprised you don't think CD Projekt Red will be bought. This is just kind of crazy things. He thinks Sony's going to buy all these studios about 2030. What is that? Like 8 more years from now. It's like a little bit probably like into the next generation. Because the user generations are like 8 to 10 years. So a little bit into the next generation. He thinks all this is just going to happen. Which is just ridiculous. People throw this Sony can't afford that up. Sony almost bought Fox for $80 billion, so they can work it out if needed. Okay, more chance of PlayStation being bought up by Apple than these happening. So PlayStation doesn't have to buy any studios, while Xbox intends to have the most for the Game Pass. Some of these names are highly unlikely for a Sony acquisition. Right now, PlayStation Studios has around 4,000 employees. Without Bungie, Ubisoft has 20,000 employees worldwide, and Embracer Group has more than 16,000. There's no way Sony could digest this without mass layoffs. There's no way that you are serious. This dude is dead serious about this. That's the crazy part about this. Keep dreaming, bud. In your dreams. Dream on. Pretty much just call him delusional at this point. Ubisoft is not selling to Sony. It's Tencent for them or EA. Crytek will go with Microsoft, Sega, Microsoft, Capcom not selling, etc. Get it? Are you on drugs? Don't give us hope. This is too much. Sony doesn't have the capital. And then you wake up. If you think that Sony, with the debt it has, is going to spend that much money, you are very wrong. At most, they will buy Square and two small studios. This would be a great economic sacrifice after losing Activision Blizzard King. Okay. Damn, I wanted to believe that you really know about any acquisitions, but after this statement, LOL, no. Okay. The best thing Sony can do right now is to divest their company, which does not involve spending basically all their money on the one division, keeping them afloat. Okay. Okay, so this guy says, this is just effing hilarious. That's every single AAA third-party Japanese publisher outside of Bandai Namco. And somehow they'd also be able to acquire both Embracer and Ubisoft. Ubisoft, the company would double the employee count of Activision. Care to share your drugs? Like I said, this guy has to be on some drugs to make this type of statement. Once again, PlayStation fans has more faith in Sony than Sony themselves. At the end of the day, I think I will acquire some. Okay, what is this nonsense? Yeah, okay, 2030. You think they will let the market leader acquire all of this? FTC, etc. will have a meltdown. Square and one other sure. Sony will need a heavy war chest for this, and I don't even see it going through. These ponies are just delusional. This is what you call a monopoly. Yeah, if Sony legit owned all this, this would be a monopoly, but this will never happen. Like, they would never own all these companies. It's just ludicrous to even think this type of thing out. Like, really. Like, I'm surprised somebody actually typed all this out and hit send. Like, it just, like, you have to be on drugs at this point. Like, you can't be sober. You're gonna statement like this. Talk about delusional. The DARE program has failed us. Embracer Group? Face palm. Sony will be lucky if Embracer Group doesn't buy them. Seems highly unlikely. Bro, there's a much bigger chance Sony gets acquired by another company than them buying all of those. People are talking about Sony having the money, but really this would never pass antitrust laws, but okay. Cope extra strength. Okay. If the term delusional was a person, at the end of the day, they won't buy crap because Microsoft will use the same shady tactics. What shady tactics is he referring to? They're using on the Activision Blizzard deal, and they won't find a way to buy anything without looking like complete hypocrites. Okay. Bruh, I don't think Sony's even worried. They're just not focusing on huge purchases like this. So this ain't happening anytime soon. They will never ever think about purchasing humongous companies, let alone Embracer. Okay. You do not understand money. just made it simple. Like, you don't understand how money works at this point. You lost credibility the moment you mentioned Embracer Group amongst the possible Sony acquisition targets. Better odds that the third party will acquire Sony and the other publishers you mentioned than Sony themselves. What crack does to MF. There are really people who think if Sony could buy something like the Embracer Group. I really hope he is just trolling. I think this guy's completely serious. I think he is completely serious, which is the scary part about this. This is a dumb post, so let's talk about why. PlayStation doesn't have the access to the capital to complete this. Most slash all are public, which means counterbills which Sony can't win versus Microsoft, Tencent, etc. Public acquisitions take time and are difficult to overlap. Okay. Y'all are some hard liquor when you tweet. Okay, clown. Oh man. Like I say, I don't know. They just get drunk before tweeting, or they get high before tweet. I don't know. Either way, they're not sober while they're making these crazy tweets like this. Because this is 100% delusional right here. Like, I don't know what makes somebody hit tweet and send. Like, this just makes zero sense. But I'm going to conclude it right here. But definitely want to see your thoughts down below. Do you think his post has some merit, or do you think he's completely out of his mind? Let me know your thoughts down below about this post. Leave a like this video. As always, thanks for watching, and peace.